Hey, you. How you doing? You good? How was your weekend? Was it good? Me? Well, nothing much planned. Working, podcasting, working. Thanks for tuning in to episode 5. We do the Tabletop Sessions Awards for 2018. It's a pretty great episode. We had a bit of an issue. Trying to fix Byron's mic, we ended up making it worse. So there will be some technical intervention between this and the next episode. But I'm sorry if sometimes Byron's a bit unclear. Check out storysmithspodcast.com. It's a podcast where a bunch of nerds world build and create these fantastical sci-fi and fantasy stories with the guidance of their listeners, telling them where they want the story to go. It's a pretty good podcast. I mean, I'm on it, so I'm biased. But check it out. www.storysmithspodcast.com. Episode 5 is the Tabletop Sessions Awards for 2018. Let's get to it. No. All right. I'm gonna trade you 2 sheep for that wood. Tell me, honey, does that sound good? 'Cause all I really wanna do is take away longest road from you, yeah. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Hello, fellow gregarious geeks and gamers. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Tabletop Sessions Podcast, where we talk about all things tabletop related that have been occupying the hearts and minds of this international group of gamers over the course of the last 3 weeks. My name is Elias, and with me this week are my favorite human equivalents of the Oscar, Emmy, and Grammy trophies. Hey guys, say hi.
Hi, Dima here.
Hi from Ipo.
And I'm Byron.
So which one am
Did you mean
I?
Ipo or did you mean Oscar?
Yeah, Oscar is my middle name.
Dima, you're the Emmy because you're like a beautiful
Wow.
angel thing. Yeah. Dima's my wife. I get to do that. So Dima and I just got back from a trip to Tbilisi, Georgia.
Yeah.
Wow. I took her there for her birthday. And it is a great city.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's lovely. Good food. It's great, well priced. We stayed in a castle, like a castle that started being built in the 10th century. He said.
Yeah, and it was built by supposedly a really, really rich person.
Well, it had to be. It's a castle.
But I mean, within the walls of the city, he built a castle and walls around his own castle.
Yeah, because Tbilisi is a walled city. So this was such a paranoid guy that living in a walled city, he chose to live in a walled castle. So
because he was really rich.
Was he trying to keep out the Mexicans?
He made him pay for it. I know that much. Oh man,
It was really cool and creepy at the same time to stay in that castle.
The first night was rough.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
especially that we arrived at night. So they were like 50 steps to climb up to reach the entrance, and there was this
it's a steep
bell,
climb, yeah.
and it wasn't a well-lit street, but it was really great.
Yeah. It was rough. When we first got there, I looked at Dima. I was like, I passed a Marriott on the way here. It wasn't too far away.
She passed a merit to go to a castle with the blood of poor people on the wall. The people who built
the guy
that
was
castle.
super nice. He had taken years and decades to
Yeah.
buy up all the parts of the castle, which was owned by 23 families or something.
Yeah.
And he made each room gorgeous. Our room was called the Vienna room, and it was done in an Art Deco style, sort of it's designed after a specific cafe in Vienna or something like that. But
which has nothing to do with the castle.
which has absolutely nothing to do with the castle. But anyway.
So what did you play in that castle?
We played Fox in the Forest.
Yeah.
And we played that Sherlock Holmes game you got us from London, Ipo.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it
Aw.
in BGG.
Oh my goodness.
so it's
it's
just-
so
Yeah.
bad. Look, one of the
I-
it's just like 60 something cards, and then like there's a question or a scenario on the front, and you have to answer it, and then you flip it. So it started out pretty cool, but then one of the like third one or the fourth one was a physics problem,
Yeah.
just straight up. The question was, Sherlock was sitting around smoking his pipe deep in thought. Then he looked at me and said, "Watson, it's the same temperature in this room, and yet the tiles are colder than the carpet. Why is that?" And I was like, I don't think deduction's going to help me here.
So it's more of a souvenir.
Yeah, exactly.
Than a game.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we had fun with Fox in the Forest. There was this cafe next to the castle. And every day we'd like go to that cafe, have a coffee, and just play some games for like 1 hour to get our brain intact. And then we'd walk around the city for 9 hours or something.
And
I-
now
we-
our phones still expect us to walk
Yeah, I
that
was
much.
gonna say we walked so much that today I had a meeting from my office. I put in the location and my phone gave me the time if I walked to it. And I was like, don't get used to that. Anyway, Ipo, you've been playing something.
Yeah,
a
while
couple
you
times.
guys you were having fun in castles, we were just playing some simple short games. We played Wingspan.
Oh, that's like it's all the hotness these days.
It was very hot that night. The game also was very nice. It's a game by Stonemeyer Games, the famous company made Euphoria, Scythe, Viticulture, Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. That was a good game to play in the castle in Tbilisi. by the way. The designer is Elizabeth Hargrave. Keep her in mind, guys. She did another weird game based on Victorian flower language.
What in the world?
I
is
have no
Victorian
idea what
flower
this,
language?
what this game is, but just it impressed me, right?
Yeah.
Her theme game is
Yeah.
top notch. It's next level.
Yeah.
The artists are Ana Maria Martinez Jaramillo,
Wow.
Natalia Rojas.
Well
I don't
done.
Know, I don't know why I tried
How
to do
many
the
times
Spanish
did you
pronunciation.
practice that?
Beth Sobel.
Oh, I love Beth Sobel.
Beth Sobel.
She's
Ah, you
done
know
so
her?
many. Oh yeah. She did a bunch of games that I really like the artwork. I think Arboretum.
Yes.
Also, she did Herbaceous. I think she did that.
Between Two Cities.
Oh, she did that too. It was a really pretty game.
Two games that I want to play just for the art.
Yeah, true.
And also she did some illustrations for the viticulture.
Well, viticulture is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The game is beautiful. The art is beautiful. Okay, let me tell you a couple of words about the game. It's a very simple game. Okay, it's a card game. In every turn, you just have 4 actions you can take. You can play one of your cards. Every card is a bird. Okay, you can either get food that you need to play a bird. The third action you can do is lay eggs in order to score points, or you can draw a bird card. And you need all these cards to do all the 3 first actions.
Okay.
Okay, so each action is represented by a row of 5 spots where you can place your birds and unlock improved versions of the same action. So, for example, in the beginning of the game, you can draw 1 card. If you fill this row action with all 5 birds, you get 4 cards. So you are improving your actions by playing these cards. The game is, in essence, an engine building game, because every time you use an action, you can use the powers of your birds that you have already played in this action row. So you're trying every time you're playing 1 card to do, for sure, more than 1 action. Comment on the Wingspan, saying that it has a low level of interaction. So we played this game twice. The first time we were 4 players, the second time we were 5 players. It feels like a multiple solo. So every time you just wait. Actually, there are certain cards that gives you some abilities that you should check what the other people are doing in the game. But in reality, it's a multiple solo for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The innovative part of the game is that the objectives score points. The birds score points. The eggs score points. Whatever you do in this game, you score points.
Was the designer Stefan Feld?
Good point. Basil
Or his sister?
Basil was playing with me. He was scoring points for his birds with a wingspan more than 80 centimeters.
Oh my God.
So imagine this
That bird
as an
should be in
objective.
the NBA for sure.
I mean, it's a great game because in the end of the game, you know the wingspan of every bird. you need to know it in order to score points. For sure, if I play this game more, by the end I will know how many number of eggs each bird lays and things like that. Okay, so overall, it's a good addition for the Stonemaier games because they didn't have anything, I think, so simple and
Maybe between two
Filler.
cities might be.
I have never
It's
played
like
that.
a 20, 30-minute game. So
Yeah, so maybe. So it's a light, short, educational. It's a gorgeous game. I suggest it. That was Wingspan.
yeah, no, it looks beautiful. Like we posted a couple pictures of that on the Instagram, and people have been going crazy over it.
Yeah.
But other than just us, it's been everywhere on Instagram. So it's a huge hit. I mean, Stonemaier doesn't put out rubbish usually. Like, I mean, I have 3 of their games, and 3 of them are winners.
They never
right?
did, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Byron is saying that he didn't like Between Two Cities, so
Oh, I have never
Yeah.
played him.
I've played Side Euphoria and Viticulture. These are the 3 games I've played from Stonemaier, and I love all of them. I mean, I haven't
So
tried
just-
Charterstone, but from what I hear, it's a good Euro game, if not the best legacy game, but at the very least, a nice worker placement game. And I mean, it's beautiful, and I'm glad he's doing stuff like this. This fills up an engine builder that can be played in 30 minutes. That's not every game that can be that. I mean, the closest thing I can think to that is like Roll for the Galaxy or something like that, where it's an engine builder that you can play in 20, 30 minutes with 4 players.
Mhm.
Right.
That being said, you guys took like 2.5 hours. to
But
play.
what I liked is that
Yeah.
even though you and Ricardo had played the game before, the first and second player in the second game you guys played were newbies.
True.
So
Yeah, that was true.
And
I'm
they-
not sure if it's
yeah.
because you and Ricardo are terrible at the game,
I
or
am
if
terrible at the game.
or if the game like
It was
helps
amazing. Ricardo Ipo had a
new players.
card that said like, if you have birds with colors in their names, right? If you have, let's say, 2 to 4 of them or something like that, you get 3 points. If you have 6 or more, you get 6
Yeah.
points. He got 5. So
So you get 0.
the only number he could get that would give him 0 points.
And I have to share something really important about the game, just so you don't set yourself up for disappointment, is that the color of the eggs
Doesn't matter.
means nothing.
That really upset me.
Me too. I really thought it meant something because they're so colorful and all the boards are really nice. And turns out it's
But like, who would you recommend this game for?
Oh, well, it's a filler. So I guess everybody can play it.
I don't know if you call it a filler. It took longer to play than our
yeah,
main
it
game
was-
last Tuesday.
It was a pretty
True.
long game.
The
I wouldn't
first
call
time
it
we
a
played it
filler.
with 4 players, it was like 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour with the explanation. 5 players took us too long. Of course, it depends on the players.
True.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I mean,
So like beginner players, or it's too much for beginner players?
if somebody had described it to me, I would say this is not a game for me. But in the end, I liked the game.
Okay.
So I guess,
So even heavier gamers, you would say there's something there. for
exactly.
them.
Heavier games like me.
Yeah. But what about like beginner gamers? Is it too much for a gateway?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it like a gateway plus, you would say?
It's no, I think it's a light game. Well, I wouldn't play it with my daughter.
10-year-old.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, that was Wingspan by Stonemaier Games.
So speaking of unique themed games, actually this was already brought up in episode 3, the Essen episode, but because we finally played it within our group, I want to talk about the first scenario of this game, Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr.
Oh, such a good game.
The designer is Michael Fox, publisher Hub Games, and the artist is Bryn Jones. So just briefly, it's a co-op and you're all nurses trying to find out the story of this patient who's holding on.
I think you're trying to find his next of kin.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by finding out about his life.
So you're just trying to find a balance between like saving his life, keeping him alive as long as you can, but at the same time
doing your job,
but at the same time getting the juicy story.
It's kind of hard to explain exactly.
Yeah,
right?
It's a game about doing your job well or doing your job badly, but having fun at work.
It's not really fun at work,
No.
but I would say
the
just
guy's
like
dying. That was
scratching
horrible.
the itch of
I feel
knowing
that-
his background story.
I
And
feel that the designer feels that the palliative care is equal to medical care, so that's the point of talking to the patient and make him feel well in his last moments.
Yeah.
It's very weird we're talking about this in a gaming podcast,
yeah.
but I like it. I like that
Yeah.
this guy took a step ahead and made a game
You
about.
know, it's a co-op, but like, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
But like, every time someone brings it up, I'm in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm not a co-op guy.
Me
like,
too.
I really like it.
And
you know?
and we only played the first scenario,
I played
but
it twice though.
yeah, okay. But when we played it last week, basically in that scenario, the goal is to match one full memory in each of 5 rows. But at the back of each card, there's a little message or a little, like, one sentence of a memory. And I loved reading those. It was, I don't know, it gave me like goosebumps sometimes. And it was really nice. So
They did such a good job.
I like that aspect of the game because a lot of co-ops sometimes don't absorb you into the story. It's just mechanical actions that you take over and over again to reach a goal.
Yeah.
It's
So
interesting
in
you're
this
saying that.
game,
I'm feeling exactly the opposite. It's not a game. I think it's more the experience than the game.
mhm.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so apparently later, as you go on in the next scenarios, not everything is as it seems as you reach out to people from his past. So I'm super excited about the next scenarios. And apparently Ipo's banned from playing the next games because
Ipo's wife, if you're listening, please let Ipo play the game again. I promise you he'll do what you say.
My wife wants to be the hospital manager and the shift manager for the whole game.
Your wife wants to solo the game.
No, I want to solve the game.
Lena, I'm with you.
have
I'm
to
with
solo the
you.
game.
Ipo sucks at co-ops.
No, but I'm in anytime you want to play it. And
Definitely we're gonna play
So
the game.
that was Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr by Hub Games.
thank you so much for that. I really love that game. I'm glad whenever
too.
it comes out. Continuing with, like, this seems to be like a unique theme podcast because first, there was the wingspan of birds. Then we're talking about, a guy who was dying. Oh man, just depressed myself.
Let me guess, Martin Wallace? No?
No.
Oh, okay.
On Tuesday on game night, we got to play Himalaya. This is an older game from 2002, actually. So it's a 17-year-old game at this point. It took me a minute. There.
Prehistory.
Prehistory. From the time
Wow.
of the dinosaurs. So seeing as it's from the time of the dinosaurs, they did a good job predicting the future, I guess, a little bit. Sorry, so the reason it's a unique theme is because there's 2 versions of this game. Himalaya is the original, but they've had a version called Lords of Zidit, which is a fantasy game set in the same world as Seasons, which is by the same publisher.
Mhm.
And, my initial, reaction was, Lords of Zidit is the updated version for sure. That's the one I'm going to get. But I got Himalaya in a trade, and I'm really glad I got this version.
Me too.
It's like on the border between Nepal and Tibet, and basically you have these yak caravans, and you're basically transporting goods from villages that have the goods available to villages and monasteries that require the goods, so have a demand for the goods. So you're meeting that contract. As opposed to Wingspan, this is the opposite of multiplayer solitaire.
Mhm.
I feel like you only get like a minute to yourself, actually.
Yeah.
Which is when you're programming. It's a programming game. So every turn, you program 6 actions, different kinds of roads that you can walk on, an interaction, which is like a buy or like a fulfill a contract, or rest, which is a super important action as well. And you're placing these 6 in a certain sequence. And then when it starts, You start, and then like let's say I'm starting, I do my first one. Next player clockwise does their first one. Then it comes back to me. So it's a programming game.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say one thing, that it's what I loved about it is that during your turn, when you're deciding on the 6 actions, you have to gauge
What everyone else is going to do.
so that you can reach wherever you want to go
Yeah.
first, or if
And
you're
the reason that's
expecting.
important is either someone could finish a contract before you get there, and then when you get
Yep.
there and interact, nothing happens.
Mhm.
But also, there's lots of resources, up to 5 resources in a single location. And when you buy, you have to take the lowest value resource.
Yep.
So sometimes you want to go there, rest on your next action so that someone else who went there gets the salt, and then you can get the next higher up
Yeah.
resource.
So you really have to try and read the other players and see what their
Exactly.
next move is, so you
super
can get there
interactive.
first or after. And
It's also
a lot of
super
fun.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you could end up like spending half your turn getting to a position, and then when you get there, someone's already done the contract and there's nothing you can do about it. But it's thematic because you have to plan these trips through the mountains, and there's nothing you can do. Like
Or you and 2 other players like expect each other to go to the closest goal,
yeah.
and then all 3 of you end
Go-
up
go across
going
the
the
board
other
somewhere
way.
else,
And yeah.
But I will
So-
say the most brilliant aspect of this game is the fact that the scoring system is just brilliant. So
Yeah.
the scoring system, I'll be very brief because it's very hard to explain, but it's not just tally up your points. So first you count something called, I think, religious points. And the one who has the least is eliminated,
Mhm.
and they remove their other pieces from the board.
Yeah.
So on the next one, which is your political points, that person could have had the most political points, but if they didn't have enough religious points, they've removed
Yeah.
all their pieces from the board. So when it
It's
comes to
brutal.
political points, they're not being counted. So then you find again who has the least political, and then you end up with 2 people in the end, and you count your economic, which is the most yaks, basically.
So it's like an elimination process
So
until
I
the
had
last
the most
2.
yaks, but I didn't win the game because I didn't have enough political
Wow.
control. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
And actually, the guy who had the most political, the guy who won, AK won by having, he had the 3rd most yaks. Like
Yeah.
you had the least yaks, then AK, and it came down to you and AK
Yeah.
in the end, and he won. And
Wow.
Yeah, so like you can't ignore the other bits. You know what I mean?
How many players is this?
This was a 4-player.
4.
I believe in a 3-player game, it's a different scoring method, but we haven't tried that. So I would highly recommend. It's a short game. We played 4 players, and the amount of time it took after you guys had finished explaining Wingspan and you started playing it with 5 players, we taught Himalaya and played Himalaya before you finished. So I'd say it's a short game. You can play it in an hour and 20 minutes maybe. And it's a great game. Himalaya by designer Regis Bonesset. And my version, at least, is from Tilsit, the publisher Tilsit.
Ignacy Trevicek, one of our favorite designers from Portal Games,
Yay.
Mhm.
has announced a 3rd edition of their board game Pret-a-Porter. I know I'm saying it wrong. I'm not even going to attempt to say it properly.
Pret-a-Porter.
But there's far too many extra syllables in this name.
Peasants.
So I'm going to read out their press release and then just give a few pointers on the game. So what they say is, each player is a clothing magnet and will clash with others in a brutal war for dominance and success of their brand. During the game, players are opening branches of their business, hire new talented employees to expand their capabilities. Each passing month, you gain new managers, models, and designers. Your company will grow to eat your opponents alive. Now, for a press release, that sounds very violent.
Yeah.
It's about fashion and cannibalism.
I mean, the two
I
are kind
didn't know
of the
the
same.
fashion industry was that brutal.
So it was previously released as fashion. He wanted to redesign it for maybe like a video game theme or something of that sort of nature. But he's gone back to the fashion. Clearly, it's popular again.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the initial thing, if you read some threads on BGG, it's the same reason Rococo never reached that level of popularity, because some people are like, I don't want to play a game about making dresses, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate the theme.
And people felt the same way about this one, even though it's about the business of fashion.
Yeah, true.
And but now he seems to have gone back on it and is going back in fashion, and seems like most people are happy about it, which I am for one. I don't want a game about the video game industry. This is a cool theme.
Me too. Yeah.
And so like it's cool. It's like the meta's changed. Like people are either less awkward about or maybe it's just we haven't heard the haters yet.
But wait, Rococo, I hate the theme because it was medieval dresses. Come on, that's not a theme for a game. But if we are in the business of making Pret-a-Porter, yeah, I mean, let's go
Also,
there.
like I read a few threads about like the rule book not being clear and people being frustrated
But that's
about
every
that.
Portal
So
game.
yeah, so
I mean,
maybe
I remember
that.
Robinson Crusoe. I didn't understand a thing in the rule book. I had to print out a separate rule book. Someone basically translated it from Ignacy to normal, and I was able to understand the rule book. And that's I love you, Ignacy, if you're listening.
Actually,
and then I was able to understand it. But Robinson Crusoe is very popular.
Actually, I read a really funny comment on the game. One person asked if someone could win the game by sending their models to the fashion show with no clothes. And other players were like, no, naked models cannot win. And what are you going to sell at the end of the show? Like,
It's like the Emperor's New Clothes.
That's exactly what he said at the end of the comment.
But no, it's I think it's interesting because I'm not sure if the meta has changed. I feel like as a whole, definitely like geek culture is starting to be a little bit more aware of itself and not so much about Conan, me strong man, punch you in face. Like now we're starting to have badass female characters that are strong, and we're also starting to see it's better than just like template. Spray paint for the theme all the time. And that like Wingspan is killing it right now, right? It's one of the
True.
best.
Yeah.
And that's about birds.
That's totally true.
So like, I think maybe the meta is changing a little bit. What do you think, Byron?
I definitely think that we are heading towards more neutral sort of games. Society is just more accepting and changing and adapting to not being male biased.
And also, like the board game community is expanding a lot. Board games are becoming a lot more popular in more social settings and not just, I don't know, the previous, do I want to use the word nerd setting or
Yeah.
So
But that's a shame because like, okay, the nerd setting has been, the proprietors of Conan, okay, but they've also been the proprietors of some awesome things.
yeah,
right?
I just feel like it's a lot more approachable to a larger community when you use simpler themes, like
Maybe.
something
Yeah.
that's not space or
In any case, I applaud Ignacy for sticking to the fashion design thing, and I would love to try it. They say it's like a heavy economic game.
yeah.
which is like
So it's
3 of my favorite words.
food chain magnate for dresses.
Exactly.
I was very intrigued when I
Amen.
read about it, and on the forum, people were really, really into
I
the
dig that.
strategy,
done. We'll get a copy and we'll try it.
and they said
So-
it's pretty cutthroat.
and we'll let you know what we think about if we applied it to a video game theme.
Yeah, don't go to the video game theme.
All right, guys. So thanks for that, Byron. That was a great news article.
Yeah,
Pret-a-Porter.
super interesting.
So, guys, this isn't your usual jump to Game Show of the Week. There's something in
Mhm.
between. Are you ready for the Tabletop Sessions Awards of 2018? Guys, Tabletop Society Sessions, we don't really have a proper name for it. We're going to call it Tabletop Sessions Awards 2018.
Very creative.
Is we've been giving it since before we had this podcast. The main thing to take away, Ipo's going to tell you more about how we vote for it, but the main idea is that we are not going to have played every game from the last year. Also, there are a lot of games from years before that we've only just learned to play. So it's not supposed to be an award that's looking at the best game that came out in 2018. It's an award that's basically the best games that we played in 2018. And it's voted between ourselves and the rest of our group, the Tabletop Sessions group, that was born before the podcast was born.
The people that play the games that we post on our Tabletop Sessions Instagram.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So could you give us like a brief high level idea of how it was calculated?
Yeah, so the main idea came like 2 years ago. Is it? I think.
Yeah, I think
this
2
is
3 years
this is
ago.
the
Yeah.
third year, yeah.
Yeah. So people from I think 20 different countries had voted for the first Tabletop Sessions Awards, and the results were posted in Instagram, and they are still there in our
Yeah.
Instagram
Yeah.
They're
account.
still there.
I don't know if you can search like 2 years ago before.
Just scroll.
Just scroll.
A lot.
So we did it last year, and again this year. The difference was that we gave some more weight in our own votes because
The hosts of the podcast.
because we are the podcast and we don't care about their no no.
You're not
Uh,
supposed to tell them this.
No. It's important to know. We gave more weight to our votes because, one, the number of people in the group has reduced since last year. It was a bit of a. It's still a lot of people, but it was a bit less significant. And on top of that, this is being presented on the podcast, so it should represent the host's perspective as well.
And one main reason is that we, as hosts of the podcast, we are playing more games than the other people now.
Dima and Byron don't know the results.
No.
Only Ipo and I do.
I'm very
So
excited.
we're gonna announce them. There are 4 categories,
I love that.
and every time we announce, I'd like to hear you guys' reaction to, the runner-up and the winner.
No pressure.
So basically, we're gonna be telling you the top 2 of each category. So the first one is Party Game of the Year,
Oh,
2018.
yeah, so much fun.
Any guesses?
Any guesses?
Spyfall. Monikers. Damn
Okay.
it. I should have said
Well, Monikers
Monikers.
won our Party Game of the Year last year. just
Oh,
by the
okay.
way. The runner-up for Party Game of the Year 2018 was.
Drrrr.
I'll add that in post.
Okay.
The Mind, designed by
Oh,
Wolfgang
yeah!
Warsch, published by NSV and Pandasaurus Games, among others, published in 2018.
I agree.
That's a runner-up, not the winner.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for the Mind to win, but
Yeah, but I don't think enough people played it.
A
from
lot
the
of people
group.
have played The
Actually,
Mind.
yeah, like 5 of you and us.
There are people that aren't part of our group that just come over to play The Mind, basically.
That's true.
I had a friend visiting from
For
Kuwait
the
with
weekend.
his wife. We went to walk the dogs, me and Dima.
Yeah.
We came back and we just saw them staring at each other, holding cards, and we're like, "Oh my god, they're playing The Mind."
And they're not even gamers.
Yeah, so, what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think it definitely deserves.
So you're
Yeah.
surprised now because the winner is not Monikers.
Whoa.
The winner of Party Game 2018 is.
Brrrr.
I'll add that in post.
again.
Vegas Wits and Wagers,
Oh,
designed
yeah!
by Dominic Crepouchet, published by North Star Games
Oh,
and published
man.
in 2017.
I totally agree. We
Yeah.
played that game 50 times at Origins. I thought the guy was going to kick us off his table.
We had like permanent spots on their table in Origins in 2016.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We played it like 16 players. We were 2 per team,
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
Plus, I have the Vegas edition, plus
Yeah.
the deluxe edition, plus the party edition. So I've
Oh.
combined all 3 into the same game. But I
So
feel
you
like
have
the main
edition.
I have the ultimate edition, but I feel like the main thing they liked was, I know it was the mat that comes with the Vegas edition, because
Yeah.
what it adds is you can bet on individual players before they answer. So let's
It's
say
a
there's
10
a
to 1 bet.
yeah 10-1 bet.
It's
So let's say
amazing.
there's this question about space stuff, and I know Ipo likes space stuff. Maybe I bet on him, but then maybe Ipo sees that and chooses to tank it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to it. I think it's definitely a great game. Have you played it, Byron?
Yes, I played it. I was
Oh,
terrible,
okay.
but I never lost.
I think I'm biased because me and Hamad won the first game.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
undefeated still.
Yeah,
Really?
that's
Yeah.
true.
I think
But-
it's the only game. The only game I'm afraid the cards will run out, and we
No,
won't
man.
be able
We
to play
have
it anymore.
So many. We played the game like 15 times, and we've gone through like a quarter of one of the 3 decks I have.
I just want to point out that our group was so into this game that they actually dressed up as the characters on the cards.
That's right.
That
We
was
pulled out the
amazing.
Halloween costume.
Yeah.
But don't forget, Ipo, there's only 7 questions per game.
Yeah, you're right.
And once I get through the deck, there's a second question on each card.
Yeah.
So like I have like 6 times the amount of questions.
True.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, let's
So-
move on to the next category.
So, guys, next category: Friday games.
What does that mean, Ipo?
Friday games are the games we're playing on Fridays.
Equivalent
Because-
to
because of-
Sundays in the Western world.
because Friday, exactly, it's a weekend here in Qatar. So we're playing games that take longer than 3 hours to play.
Yeah.
So for the Friday games, or should I call it the weekend games category?
Just Friday's fine.
Okay, so the runner-up for this year,
Woohoo.
Arkwright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Designed by Stefan Risthaus,
That was
published by
so
Speedworks
good.
and Capstone Games. Published in 2014.
We already talked about this on a previous episode, but it was a very fulfilling game.
Actually, we talked about it on the test episode.
Did we? Damn it.
The problem is we need to play it again, and every time we're saying we need to play the game,
Yeah, the thing is we have to play it with the same 4 people just
Yeah.
so we don't have to get through those rules. But it was... I had a piece of paper and a pen. But I won, right?
By tiebreaker with me.
Yeah. And it was a mind scratcher, but a lot of fun. I don't think a piece of paper and pen is necessary, but
It's
if you
definitely
want,
not necessary.
if you want to
considering I tied
win
with
guaranteed,
Considering I tied with you and just played it on instinct, I'd say you wasted a lot of everyone's
no,
time.
it's necessary. I agree with Dima.
since
Elias
I'm
is,
AP prone, I think a piece of paper and a pen is good because by the time it gets back to your turn, if you have short-term memory like me and Dory, you'll forget what your strategy was.
no, Elias is a rare kind of CEO that he doesn't need a piece of paper and, spreadsheets.
The lucky kind.
Okay, guys, so the winner of this category of Friday games for 2018.
Drum roll.
I'm gonna add that in post. But I'm not gonna add it in post. This is just gonna keep. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna keep playing.
let's keep saying that so we don't need to add it. Okay. So the winner is Food Chain Magnate.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love all these games.
Designed by Jeroen Dumen and Joris Viersinga. I think these guys are Dutch, right?
Yes.
Published by Splotter-Spellen. Published in 2015.
I honestly still can't get the video of Shut Up and Sit Down when you were selling me on the game before we got it.
Yeah.
But the game just drew me in, even though initially I didn't like the art because I felt it was very basic. The board didn't really have much to it. But then when you just add all your stores and your products and your marketing stuff, it totally deserves number 1.
I love this game. It's in my top 10 games, and it's we're playing it online right now. Like it's
Yeah.
And yeah, Patatsufis, you need to play. It's your turn.
that's right, man. It's been like 3 weeks.
I mean, but I love the game and I love the theme also. So that was the winner for 2018 Friday game.
Well, you sound super excited about it. So let's move on to
2 of my favorite games.
to another category that makes no sense: the Tuesday game. What does that mean? Well, that's when we have our weekly game night
Yeah,
with
very
all the
different.
members of Tabletop Sessions. Shout out to the members of Tabletop Sessions.
Woohoo! Best
Sorry,
group ever.
I just listened to a Killer Mike interview on Joe Rogan, and every time he said anything, he goes, "Shouts out to this guy, shouts out to that guy," and so I can't get it out of my head. Anyway, so a Tuesday game basically is a game that takes usually less than 3 hours to play. It'll get to the table on Tuesday, and we don't need a weekend.
Except
we don't need to commit our day for it.
except occasionally when Ipo picks the game.
Sometimes
on a
some
Tuesday
AP
that he
will come out, but
considers.
in principle, the game should be at most 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right. But there's no runner-up because we had a tie, guys.
Whoa.
We had a tie for the top 2.
Can we break the tie?
No.
Damn it.
What happened in
Because
Oscars?
the tie would be split down the middle, I think.
No.
Yeah.
I'm super
I know Byron would go
curious.
one way. I know you would go the other.
Guys, in the Oscars, if there is a
I
tie,
know
what
I
happens?
would go with you, Dima.
Exactly.
I'm not sure where Ipo would go. I think he'd go with Byron. Anyway,
Let's do this. Let's do this.
so the tie winner. The first one is the winner of last year's new arrival, which means it was published in 2017,
Okay.
Seventh Continent. Designed by Ludovic
yeah.
Rudy and Brudi Sauter, published by Serious Poop.
That game became so popular in our group. You guys played it once and then everyone bought it the next week.
But yeah, I mean, last year it won our new arrival. That meant new to our collection. Usually that means it's published that year. And Seventh Continent won it again this year. So now it
Wow.
won the main award, which is the best game for game night, basically.
Wow.
And I'm not the biggest fan. I did trade away my copy,
Me either.
but it's not because I totally get why people love this game.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just traded it because I didn't want to play it solo because it takes too long to set up, as opposed to like a quick dice game or a card game, which is what I would play solo, right?
Fair enough.
Doesn't take too
and I
much to
can't play two player. It takes a long time.
Set up.
Nico.
It does.
It doesn't take a long time to set up. It takes a long time that every time I have to explore, I have to look through all the cards to get the card I want. So if I want to bang out a solo game, usually I want it in less than an hour.
Mm.
You know, you're not going to get a fully satisfying experience in under an hour.
True.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I
Agreed.
agree.
And Dima, who is the person who lives in this house with me, against my will,
By
she doesn't like the game. So because of that, it didn't make much sense to keep it.
Yeah.
Ipo has a copy, AK has a copy, Byron has a copy, Eugenia has a copy,
Like
Ricardo has a copy.
3/4 of
Everyone
our
I
group
know has a
copy.
But basically, so I traded away, but I did trade it for two fantastic games: Antiquity by Splatterspellen and Time of Crisis from GMT. So no regrets here, but fully get it. Well done,
Good
Seventh
trade.
Continent. You deserve
And
it. And tied with Seventh Continent
ooh.
is the game that I'm super happy made it. It's so weird because it's such an old game, but it did have a reprint in 2018. So technically it's legit for this award. Wildcatters, designed by Rolf Sagel and Andre Spiel. Published by Capstone Games in 2013. Nope. Published by someone else in 2013. I don't have it in my notes. I made a mistake here. But it was republished by Capstone Games in 2018.
No, guys, these two games, they tied in every way. So I tried to solve the the tie, but there wasn't any.
Tiebreak.
I'm gonna vote anonymously. Two Wildcatters.
Anyway, that's your tie for Tuesday games, which are games that take under 3 hours to play.
And now,
What?
is it time?
No, there's one more.
Oh.
Wow.
I just wanted to say that Wildcatters was first published by Rush Games. What I see
I'm pretty
now.
sure you're pronouncing that wrong. RASS? Is that
Yes.
right? RAS Games, yeah.
What did I say?
You said Rash.
Like a rash.
Okay. It's the same.
But it's not your fault.
That's
It's
the
because you're
same
Greek.
thing in Greek. So the last category in the 2018 awards was the 2018 Best Arrival. And
What does that mean, Ipo?
that means games that were published in 2018.
That are part of our collection.
Okay.
True. So the runner-up for this category was. I was waiting for Dima to say drum roll.
Drum
I'm gonna put it in
roll.
post.
Trap Words, designed by Jan Brezina, Martin Hrabolek, Michael Pozarek, and published by Czech Games Edition in 2018, of course.
Dima was so confused. Trap words.
Wow.
The game like Taboo that we played.
Oh,
like through-
yeah.
Took some time.
Yeah, like I had a blank there.
What do you think? It got the runner up.
I freaking love that game.
Byron, you played with us at Essen.
Oh yeah, we were unstoppable.
Oh yeah, we were.
I was very skeptical about that game because I love Taboo and I didn't want to find a replacement for it. But it was.
I think it's a great idea, great game, and a game we needed to play.
Yeah, it
I
was.
liked it very much.
It was a lot of fun.
So let's round this thing out with the last award of the night.
The winner of 2018 Arrival.
We'll put that in post.
Is the Mind!
Wow!
Designed by Wolfgang Warsch. Published
It-
by NSV and Pantasaurus Games, among others. Published in 2018, of course.
Great. I'm glad because I felt a bit bad that it didn't win Party Game of the Year. So I'm really glad that it won New Arrival.
Yeah, apparently if you include 2017, Vegas Wits and Wagers takes it. You take out 2017,
Yeah.
mine got this.
Yeah. And the way it spread, like it was contagious.
Yeah.
People just couldn't put the game down. And then,
As we mentioned when we talked about it, it's like drugs. So
Yep.
I don't consider the Mind a game. I'm considering it a virus. I don't think it's...
a bunny virus.
Are we? Yeah, I don't know.
and now.
And now what?
Time for Game Show of the Week.
It's a game show of the week.
Woohoo!
Tell me what you think, what you really, really think. I'll tell you what I think, what I really, really think. Tell me what you think, what you really, really think. I'll tell you what I think, what I really, really think.
So, welcome to Tell Me What You Think, What You Really, Really Think.
Tell you what I think, what I really, really think.
So, the rules of this week's game is I'm going to read out a comment from BGG Forum. Okay, and you guys are going to take turns guessing which game it's from. There are going to be 2 guesses per person, and if there's a tie, then when we get there, I'll explain it.
2 guesses
So-
per person. I like that.
Wait.
No, she means you get 2 questions.
So I'm going to read out the comment, and then when I'm done reading, you'll have 7 seconds to answer. Okay?
7 seconds.
I don't...
Such
7
an odd
seconds
thing.
away.
I mean, that's all the amount of
I
time I
felt
need
like
anyway.
5 was a bit short and 10 was a bit too long.
So
So
7
I'm going to go for 7.
7.
All right, how are you going to count it? You have a timer going?
Yeah.
All right.
Okie doke. So who's my volunteer?
I'll go first for once.
Okay. Can players come in and out of the game? Yes. Are finished scenarios you no longer meet the requirements for available to replay? I know that when you replay a scenario, you don't get the rewards in the gray box, but there may still be reasons to replay it, like unopened chests or just because you liked it. So the answer to that was in campaign mode, no. In casual mode, yes. Any ideas?
Gloomhaven.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
1 point for Elias.
Yeah.
Wow. And you haven't played that game.
No, I haven't
No.
played Gloomhaven.
And like
I'm just a nerd.
he challenged me because I was putting games that we've all played, and he was like, "No, give us games that we haven't played. We can do it." Anyways,
We can't do it.
so I didn't. Let's go next. Okay, so Ipo, Byron, who's up next?
Let's go alphabetically. So Byron, because B comes after E.
Okay, Byron, you're up. Ready?
Ready.
Can you win by not trading? In particular, by focusing on exploring and or blasting other players or NPCs. What about suicide? Okay, timer started. Exploring, blasting, NPCs, suicide. 3, 2, 1.
No idea.
Hey, Elias here, coming in from the future in the editing bay. Just wanted to tell you, in the hubbub and confusion of what Mania Game Show of the Week is, we forgot to say the right answer. It was Zaya, Legends of a Drift System. And now, let's go back to the past.
Okay, Ipo, you ready?
Of course.
You're up. Okay. So I came into this game at the half-price bookshop for just under $60. I've never played, researched, or done more than given a longing glance at the magnificent and enormous box. I opened the box and was overwhelmed by the content. This morning at 1 a.m., I concluded my inventory process and found that I am missing a single yellow fighter from the base game. This will be replaced by a tiny rubber ducky. Oh, wait, timer. Go.
Mechs versus Minions.
No.
Star. What was the other one? Huge box. What is it?
Anyone want to try?
Twilight Imperium.
Yes, Byron.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice. I was about to say Gloomhaven again.
Okay. So, Elias, you're up again.
Damn straight I am.
Here goes. Is this game actually this bad? What are we missing? Edit, the person edited, and then answered himself. No, we didn't understand critical rules. We seem to have misunderstood, namely, the demon player generally only rolls 3 dice per turn, and not all available dice in the dice pool. That's 1. 2, Intribit Charge cancels the rule that demons cannot spawn in areas where humans are, but it does not cancel the rule that they have to enter from unexplored doorways.
All right. I know like one game with a demon player. So I'm going to say Claustrophobia.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
wow.
baby.
Okay. Byron, you're up. Ready?
Okay, I think I got
What's
this.
the point? I already won.
What's the bottom line with this game? Isn't it counterintuitive at times when combining items? And it's very repetitive in that you need to tread over familiar grounds each time you fail and start over, and each time you begin a new course. Yes, you can play all the curses at the same time, but that's difficult and not the way the designers meant the game to be played.
Okay, so that's 7 consonants.
Yeah.
Come
Okay.
on.
Ipo, you want to do your last go?
Of course.
I mean, what's
Okay.
the point,
I'm gonna
really?
be second in the title.
Very close. Almost was the architect of my own defeat, but held on by 1 point. Also lucked out with a bit of a Hail Mary at the end, but only had to do that because of a previous error. My mama papa cards allowed me to start with 2 green, a blue, and the something tasting room. Any
What?
It's viticulture.
Is it viticulture?
Viticulture.
What's the
In the essential edition, the Mom and Papa cards, you get them and you each get random 2, and it gives you different starting stuff.
Oh.
As opposed to, I think that from the Tuscany expansion.
So what's the tiebreaker?
Okay, so there's Ipo. You didn't get the second
He
one. You
got
have 0
it.
points.
He got
You
it.
and Byron whispered it to him,
I
but
did not.
I
whisper
gave
it.
Byron 0.5 for guessing Elias's, and then another 0.5 for guessing Ipo's.
So what's the score?
So you and Byron have 2 points each, and Ipo
How?
has
How does Byron have 2 points?
I didn't get the demon one right.
Byron guessed 7th Continent,
Yes, and that's
Yeah,
it.
that was mine.
and then he knew Twilight Imperium.
But I knew Zaya.
Yeah, and then he also knew
I
Viticulture.
whispered viticulture.
That's amazing.
I whispered
Okay, so
viticulture.
actually the winner is Elias. Woo! Is everyone
every week
surprised?
He comes
And
up
I
with
come
a new
second.
way to try to get me to lose this. time.
Byron, guys, seriously, I tried to help you. You guys played both these games that I gave you. Elias hadn't played either.
Thank you. Yeah. True.
Thanks, Sima. I
I
appreciate
really
the
need to
support.
start doing other things at work.
Byron gets second and Ipo gets third. Woohoo!
You need to
Good
work
job,
harder on
guys.
that, Dima, in order to help us.
All right, so what was that?
So that was, tell me what you think, what you really, really think.
Tell you what I think, what I really, really. Thank goodness it's a podcast, so no one knows it's me singing that Spice Girl song. Tell me what you think, what you really, really think. I'll tell you what I think, what I really, really think. Tell me what you think, what you really, really think. I'll tell you what I think, what I really, really think. Speaking of terrible things, does anyone hear that?
Oh
What-
no.
what?
Is it the ice
Oh.
cream van?
Whatever it is.
Even better.
It's getting louder. I don't
It's
tell-
the garlic yogurt van.
It's time for the Hippokratic Corner!
Yeah!
Welcome to the Hippokratic Corner. So in this episode, guys, I want you to tell me your top 3 games to play in an airport.
Guys. So I've made a challenge for myself. Because the game show of the week isn't challenging me, okay? I have predicted on these pieces of paper everyone's top 3,
Whoa.
okay?
Oh.
Not in any order, just 3. I'm going to hand them to you. Don't look at them until after. And I'm going to hand it to you so it's handed off. I don't have control. I don't have a pen. Please don't look at it. I'm probably not going to get them right, but I'm trying to get one right. all right?
Okay.
One
You're
or
going to
two.
get one from me.
I think so.
You'll get like at least 2 from me.
Yeah. So why don't I start with mine?
Okay.
So do that, and then you guys can do yours.
Okay, yes.
All right. So the logic for mine is it should be transportable. It should be playable either solo or with a small group because you're probably not going to travel with a large group. It should not take up a lot of table space. And it should have an appropriate theme. Because if you look like me and you're scary to some people, you know, you don't want to be caught with the words bomb.
That will be our next top 3 will be top 3 games to place in the bottom of your bag. Assassin's Creed.
All right. Since I've taken too
2
long,
rooms and a room.
let me just run up the top. So my number 3 is Palm Island. I just got this on Kickstarter a few months ago. And you can play it 1 or 2 players with one set. If you have more than one set, you can play multiple players. You can play it solo. Basically, it's funny. It's a pun since that Palm Island as in palm trees, and you're on a desert island trying to survive. Well, not really. You're building like an economy and stuff, but also it's played in the palm of your hand. You don't need any flat surface. So you have this deck of cards, and as you buy cards for their income, you push them to their side, and then what they give you, the resources are shown off to the side. And then you can spend them by turning them back upright to buy new cards and so on. And you're trying to upgrade your deck. And by the time you get through your deck a couple times, you know, then you check your scores to see what you built. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. My number 2 is Aten. Dima, you've played this. It's that 2-player Egyptian themed game. You played it with AK.
Yeah.
So it's a really
was
cool
fun.
game. It's just a small board with a bunch of places to place tokens. And you have a deck of cards that you're holding, but you're only playing 4 cards. So it doesn't take a lot of space. It's a very small amount of space, small box, and really a deep game. Really a fantastic game. And I wanted to show love.
It does have a board though.
Yeah, but it's a small board. It could fit
a
on a
small
coffee
board.
table at an airport. And there's nothing else on the board, sitting
Correct.
on the table. So it's definitely something I thought, you know,
Yeah.
I could play. I could see myself playing with you. It's a 2-player only game though. And my number 1. I'm sure Dima's going to kick herself and wish she put it on her list because I don't think she did. Mr. Jack Pocket.
Oh yeah, man, we used to play that all the
I used to
time.
play that all the time. Not regular Mr. Jack, but Mr. Jack Pocket. So you don't have all those pieces of Mr. Jack. You just have, you know, you're rotating these tiles and you're moving these 3 tokens, Sherlock, Watson, and the dog.
Yeah.
You're moving them along the edges if you're looking for Jack. And if you're able to look down a whole corridor as Jack is rotating these corridors, you can check if that person is Jack or not, the person that you see. And so you're just rotating. It doesn't take any space at all. Very small game. It's called Pocket Edition. And it's top notch. I think it's better than the actual Mr. Jack.
We were so obsessed with it. We'd actually play it on our tablet when we were standing in airport immigration lines.
Yes, that's how much we played that game in the airport.
Yeah.
So I think it's better than regular Mr. Jack. I traded Mr. Jack, but I love Mr. Jack Pocket. So
Yeah.
that's my top 3.
Well
very,
done.
Very good transportable choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
Okay.
small games. Okay, Dima, go. Yeah.
Okay,
Don't
so
look at the
I'm
paper I
next.
gave you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what my criteria were. So I usually
Please.
travel with Elias. So I pick games that could be played 2 players, that aren't too long, so you could play while you're waiting to board your flight, and doesn't take too much table space. So in 3rd place, I picked Hanamakoji.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we got this at Origins last year, but we didn't play it that often. But I really loved the game. It's
Really?
yeah. I knew you were gonna say really like that because I lost.
No, it's not
Actually-
that. It takes quite a bit of space.
It's just like the straight line
Yeah, but
in the
like,
middle.
Yeah, it has to be a larger table.
Yeah, like a round table.
I guess if
like
it can
a
fit 8 on, it can
Yeah.
kind of fit. I don't know.
coffee table. But it's
Also, you've never requested to play it, so I'm surprised.
I know. I just thought of it when I was thinking of this list, and I thought
I'm
about how
really
much I
upset 'cause
loved
it's
it.
not
Thank
in
you,
my
guys.
prediction.
Thank you.
So my second runner-up is a game we used to play all the time at airports, but Fairy Tale. And my number one is our more recent favorite game that we literally played every day in Georgia was Fox in the Forest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Sherlock game with the physics.
Oh man,
So close.
I was a bit disappointed with that
Would
one
you
because
like
I
to
love
look at my
Sherlock.
predictions
So
that
let's
are-
see what Elias predicted. Should I do the drum roll?
No. I'll add that in post.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so he got 2 out of 3. He guessed Hanabi. And that was only one that's wrong, but he guessed Fairy Tale and Fox in the Forest.
Oh,
Well
good
done.
job.
But it's like
Fun.
Hana, so half a point.
No.
Hana Mikoji, I picked Hanabi because we played it in Ghana.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I was focusing on games you can play
Me and
2-player,
you,
but yeah.
Well, that's a great list. So yeah, I'll definitely be pulling out Hana Mikoji more often.
Byron, you're up.
I also had some criteria. I also tried to set myself a challenge. It had to be a card game. It had to be very light, so not a lot of cards. Okay. And it had to have a BGG score weight of 0.
What?
What?
So I got 2 out of 3 with the score weight of 0. The third I could.
Well, how can you have a weight of 0? You know, it's not the actual weight. It's
No, I know.
There's no
Just says complexity rating 0 on BGG.
okay. I
Okay.
definitely don't have your list.
Okay, so number 3, which had a weight of 1.15, which I was quite disappointed with, is Jaipur.
Oh, nice.
Great game.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a great 2-player game.
Yeah.
Take some space though.
Excellent art. Got a lot of depth to it. I quite like it. Number 2
Inserts.
is Love Letter.
Oh, nice.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Especially the
That has a
8-player
weight of
version.
0. Definitely not the
really?
8-player version. But it's a nice travel size and you can just put it in your pocket and go. And number 1, which would really freak out most people in an airport, is The Mind.
Yeah. What a surprise.
Excellent choices. Excellent.
I have actually
Dima,
played
would you
them,
like
right?
to read my predictions? For
Here goes.
For
And
Byron.
Elias predicted High Society, The Estates, and Jaipur.
I got Jaipur.
Yeah, you got Jaipur.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would predict the.
I thought
the
you
States.
put the estates because you played it with Eugenio at the airport.
Yeah, but it's just too heavy to carry in
I
luggage.
know, and your criteria sucks. I thought about Love Letter for you. And you know, it's funny because at our wedding, we gave away the wedding edition of Love Letter to
Yeah.
everyone. And then Dima's brother and his partner, they were playing it at the airport on their way back
Yeah.
to Montreal, which
Yeah.
is cool.
That's
So
awesome.
that's a good one. That's
Cute.
good one.
Okay, guys. So my top 3 criteria was 30 minutes or less to play the game. Small box, doesn't need so much space to play.
Mhm.
Easy setup and easier wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
And no, the count of players is not important
matter.
since you can have a big group flying together, or maybe you're just.
Well, I'm not in
just-
school anymore, so
Okay, so my number 3 is Citadels by
Nice.
Bruno Faiduti.
Yeah. I think Ipo introduced me to Citadels. Yeah.
It's a very nice game, funny game. But I think you need at least 3 players to play.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Love Letter
wow.
Yay!
by Seiji Kanai.
Super popular.
And my number 1 is Welcome to
Nice.
by Benoit Taupin. And not the mind. Welcome to is a roll and write game, but instead of rolling, you just have some deck of cards doing the job for
Yeah, we played it at Istanbul Airport, 3 players, and it was terrific.
for the dice. And Elias predicted, welcome to, of course, the mind. And Seven Wonders Duel, which is a very nice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I thought of Citadels, and I thought he wouldn't play it because you have to
too
like
many.
announce what you're taking. I'm the king. I'm the whatever.
Mhm.
So like it's a bit loud for the airport, but it's a good choice.
Well done. You got 2 out of 3 for me and Ipo.
Well, no, he didn't pick the mind.
1
did
out
he?
of 3.
He just
Oh.
mentioned the mind.
Oh, he said he didn't pick the mind.
Yeah, I didn't pick
I
the
picked
mind.
what he should have picked. Seven Wonders Duel was a better option.
Of
than-
course you
No,
did. Of
Seven
course
Wonders
you
Duel-
did. You've
Well,
also
I won't
picked
count
what
the
Byron
mi-
should have picked
Byron
too.
said the mind, so
I was
it's kinda like,
gonna go between Jaipur and Sushi Go, to be honest.
nice.
Sushi
But I knew
Go.
you picked Jaipur because you're always playing it online. So.
That's true. I'm pretty good.
You got like a really high ranking on that and Love Letter.
I seriously
Playful
love your top
secrets.
threes, guys.
Are we letting Ipo do the outro?
As
And-
always.
And I need to play all these games. You listeners, please let us know what your top 3 is on our Twitter account at Tabletop Sessions
No.
QA.
It's
Oh,
written
every time-
there. Ipo.
At this point, I don't believe you
Every
anymore.
time I read TT Sessions, my mind goes to Tabletop. Okay, so our Twitter account is at TT Sessions QA. Okay, TT Sessions QA. Our subreddit at reddit.com/r/tabletop sessions or at our BGG guild. All these links will be in the episode description, so you don't need to listen to me.
Please don't listen to Ipo. I feel like he was repeating it for himself.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this long tabletop
Yeah.
session. Thank you so much for listening. Please check out our very active Instagram account at Tabletop Sessions. You can reach us through Twitter, where, Ipo?
At TT Sessions QA.
Or at our subreddit at reddit.com/r/tabletop sessions. Join the conversation over at our Board Game Geek Guild, and you can find the link to all of these up in the episode description. Please rate us on iTunes or on Apple Podcasts, or if your Android podcast app of choice has some sort of rating system, we'd really appreciate any form of rating, feedback. It really helps us get noticed. And if there's anything that you feel like, if I could ask you to do this for us, it would really help with the spreading of this podcast and make it a lot more fun. So we'll be back in 3 weeks. And until then, to quote one of my favorite writers, God damn it, you've got to be kind. Say bye, guys.
Arrivederci, muchachas.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Dima, you
So
spoke 2
lame.
languages in 2 words.
Tabletop, 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 top. Tabletop, top. Tabletop, 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 top.
Thanks so much for listening. Please don't forget to rate us on iTunes or in your podcast app of choice. And don't forget to check out www.storysmithspodcast.com for our sister podcast.
Tabletop, tabletop, tabletop.